Welcome to this 10-minute total for glutes and hips. If you are a beginner, you're just going to work without any equipment. If you are improver or looking to challenge yourself, then grab some bands. We are going to start with the bands around our thighs. So just above the knee. So you're not sitting on the knee, but just above it. Going just outside of the hips and shoulders. Nice and simple to start. We're just going to come down into a squat as if we're sitting back on a chair, lifting the arms up and return. So obviously if you're working without a band, it's exactly the same exercises, exactly the same cues really, other than you're not pushing into a band. So nice and tall from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone as you sink back onto your chair, imaginary chair obviously. See if you can start to challenge and go a bit lower, all the way down, all the way up. So bum's going as low as it can, arms are going as high as they can. And at that lowest point, we've definitely got those lower abs pulling in, not pushing away. Good, let's go for 5, as low as you can into that squat. For 4. If you're using the band, push the knees out into it as you come down. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to step to the side as we squat. So we're going to go a little bit wider and return, then go the same the other way. Wider, return. Try to make sure the knees don't drop in. Push out into that band. Still lifting the arms up nice and high so we get that work down the back as well. Good, let's go 2 more to each side after this one. No, including this one. So 1 more to each side now. Good. Good, then come into a squat and we're going to pause and hold. So nice and low and then pushing out with the knees and back to neutral. Out and back. So we're not letting the knees come in. Push out, return. Out into the band and then control it to that midpoint. Good. Push, 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 push. 4, 3, stay low in the knees. Come up, little shake out. We can do that 1 more time. Drop into your squat, push the knees out for 5, 4, I don't know why I start with 5. I'm meant to do 10, 2, can have another count of 5. For 5, 4, push out into the band, 2, 1, come up, shake it off. Drop the band around so that it is over your feet. So if you're not using a band, obviously just feet hip distance apart. We're going to work on the front of the hips, so into those hip flexors. So nice and tall through the spine, arms wherever you need them to balance. And we're going to drive up with one knee and then slowly bring it back down. Same on the other side. Drive up, slowly down. Now things to watch out for here. Your headlights are nice and stable. So we're using the hip flexors in the front of the hips, not using the upper body to pull the knee up. So nice and still through the upper body. Drive up, slow down. Drive up, slow down. Arms can obviously be here if you need them for balance. If you can though, start to add your arms. So the opposite arm comes up, slow down. Drive up, slow down. So like a running motion basically. Like a running drill. The opposite arm shoots up, the other one drives back. Good, drive up, slow back. Nice and tall through the spine, hip bones nice and level. Good. Last 3, 3, 2 more to each side, up, slowly back. Good, the next one we're going to hold. So see if you can pause and hold in that position. Let's hold for 10, 9, think tall spine, Nice connection in the lower abs. 3, 2, 1. Slow release. Same on the other side. Drive it up, pause and hold. And then focus on your form. Nice and tall, nice and open. Lower abs pulling in, knee as high as you can keep it. 3, 2, 1. Slowly down. Shake it off. Leave the band where it is. Drop into your squats. You're sitting back on that chair. Again, headlights on your hip bones, nice and still. Well, not still, but level. And we're going to do our crab walks. Going one way and then back. Make sure you go the same number of steps in each direction. Headlights facing forwards and nice and level. Stay low in your squat. So as you get tired, you'll start to want to rise up. Try and stay in that knee bend. Good, we're going to do a couple more sets. Step. Good. 2 more sets. So going one way, going the other. Last set. Good, come back, rise up out of that squat. Bring your band back up just over your knees if you're using it. Balancing on your slightly weaker side first. And then the other leg is going to be nice and light on the floor. We've got a soft bend in the supporting leg, tall through the spine so that we can be nice and stable through our torso and the balancing leg. And then the other leg is going to go out to the side, return, and then extend behind us. Return. So nice simple movement. At the start, this leg is just, this foot, sorry, is just trailing on the floor. So we've got to a little bit of help balance, just to make sure that everything else is nice and still everywhere else. So torso still and everything, hip, knee, ankle in alignment on this standing side. When you're ready to add, if you're ready to add, because you can stay there, bend at the knee, and then we're doing the same movement, but with a bent knee. So leg goes out, and then squeeze the bottom. Try not to arch your back to get that leg behind you. Think, open the hips. We get a bit of flexibility, mobility, sorry, in the hip. Squeeze the glutes. And then side, and then back into that hip extension, because that's what we want when we run. We want that hip extension. So side, and then back. Everything else super still. Good, out, and then back. For these last few, if you wanted to add, you're going to drop lower in that supporting knee. Still try and get that hip extension. So you might need to take your leg a little bit further to get it, because now we've got a slight hinge in the hip. Good. 4. Extend behind. 3. Remember, as you get tired, you can come back to an easier movement to carry on. Good, let's make this last one. Come back, shake it off. Trying to work at the same level on the other side. So down into, not down into a squat, no. Shift the weight over onto the supporting leg. We've got a soft bend in that supporting leg. Everything else super still. And we go out to the side, out behind. Out to the side, out and behind. Remember, you control your band. Try not to let it snap you back to the center. Headlights nice and still and level. When you're ready to add, if you want to add, you can stay as you are. The knee becomes bent, and then out, behind. So if you are using a band, that band is going to want to pull that supporting knee inwards. So you really need to lock it out so that standing hip is working a little bit harder now than it would do without the band. Whoop. Out and behind. Remember, out, and then as you go behind, not arching the back, opening the hip instead. Side, open the hip to take it behind. Side, squeeze the bottom, open that hip. side, open the hip. Good, everything else super still. So really building that stability on that standing leg, which is really good for us when we run, because it means when we run and we're landing, we've got all that ground force coming up towards us. We've got the strength to keep that standing leg or the striding leg nice and stable, and we can really power then through to drive us forward. Good. And remember, last few, bend into that knee if you can. So bending into the standing leg. You might need to go a little bit further behind to maintain that hip extension, because we've got a hinge at the hip now. Out. And behind, we've got 3 more. For 3. Oh, that standing leg's starting to scream. 2. Last ones. 1. Come back, shake it off. Oh, wow, that's a nice bit of burn. Kick off your band, shake off your legs. And if you've got time, do a little bit of glute and hip stretching. You might really find that quite helpful.